Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Chaser Chat podcast. I am Gabriel Harber, and I'm joined here today by Kai Worley. How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
You have been someone that has been very patiently waiting in the queue to get on the podcast. So I have to say, first of all, thank you very much for your patience and understanding. The list of people that I would like to interview is very long. And so I always feel so bad when I tell people, I'm definitely going to get you on the show, but it might be like 6 months to a year. And they're like, oh, and I'm sure a lot of people assume I just forget about them. But if I listen right now, if you're hearing this podcast, I will not forget about you. If I told you I'm going to get you on the show, I will get you on the show someday. And Kai, you are a testament to that.
Yes.
Before we get into anything storm chasing related, I'd like to hear about how it is you first got interested in weather.
Okay, so I'd say that starts like really early, but it doesn't really do anything till 2019. We moved to Dallas before 2019, and we were in the path of that EF3 that hit Dallas then.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, I had made some online friends, so I was talking to them, and I had never been able to do that before. So I was able to know what was going on with the weather and where this tornado was. And that made me lose my fear of it. I wasn't scared anymore. And then a few years later, I think it was like 2022, just after the Idabel tornado hit, 2 days after, we went up there and I don't know what it was, but it was something while we were there, walking around, helping people, looking at everything. I was like, I'm interested in this. I don't know why, but I want to look into this stuff. So I started doing that. And then early this year, we were like, all right, we're going to do storm chasing stuff now. So I dragged my mom out and we started doing that.
First
From
of
there,
all, that is really cool that
yeah.
your mom is willing to go out there and do it with you. And I have to say, I'm a little bit jealous because you mentioned you're 13, turning 14 in a few weeks,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Actually, I'm wrong. It's next year. I've turned 14 in February, so I'm wrong on my math.
Oh, listen, math is not the specialty of
Math
this
is not
podcast.
important.
People can take their meteorology degree classes if they want math. That's not why they come here. So we're going to let it
Exactly.
slide. But I am jealous because my daughter is 14 years old and I desperately want to take her storm chasing. But unfortunately, her mother said no go until she is 18. She's just a little too scared of it. So I got to say, kudos to your mom for going out
Yeah,
there with you
she
and
she's
chasing. That's
very
so
great.
cool.
She's been really nice letting me do it. To quote her, either she lets me do it or I'm gonna go out to go to the store and then I'm gonna call her 2 hours later and the car's gonna be in a tree. So she's might as well let you enjoy whatever thing you're enjoying, seeing as it's not anything bad and it's actually helpful.
You know what? That is a good way to frame it. It's not like you're out there having sex or doing drugs. You just want to go chase some storms.
Yeah,
So
just want to go
I
see
think
the
that
skinny angry frog. We love
exactly. It's a
skinny
good
angry
thing to
frog.
encourage. Now, I want to go back a little bit to the beginning of what you shared. You said that by meeting some people online and chatting with them, it sort of died
Yeah.
the storm process for you and it made you lose some of that fear. Could you explain maybe a little more in detail about what it was about those conversations that helped you?
It was more like so one, having friends who knew what was going on, and two, they were able to explain to me what was going on and where everything was. And then I was able to go like myself and be like, okay, so this is what's going on. This is how this is happening. This is where the stuff is. And I was able to like once I understood that, I wasn't as scared because I think it was like a switch in from before. I would be like, if there was a tornado watch or warning or anything, I'd be like, we are going to get hit by a tornado. And now I understand that the
Right.
possibility of that, even if there's one on the ground really close to my house, is a very low possibility. So I'm not
Yeah.
as scared of it anymore.
I take it that it's been an educational process for you as well.
Yeah, I've definitely once I started looking into them and doing some research on tornadoes and stuff, I was really interested and not as scared.
Now, I know you're a storm chaser, which, by the way, storm chasing at 13 years old, super awesome. Both
Yeah.
thumbs up to you for that. But before we get into some of your chases, do you have anything in particular lined up in your future that you want to aspire
Uh,
towards, like
yeah.
broadcast
So,
meteorology, that sort of
one of
thing?
my storm chasing friends, Ashton. I don't know if
Is he
uh,
go by Ashton the Storm Chaser?
yes, him.
Yep, I know him.
Yeah, I've been talking to him. We've gone on a few chases, and we actually just met up at the weather festival like 2 days ago. That was fun. We were
Nice.
there. I proposed an idea for next year, so I've been looking into buying it like one of the TV style camcorders or whatever. I was like, that'd be fun to do with this. Film a storm chasing documentary or show or whatever. He was like, sure. So we're probably gonna do that next year. So that's gonna be fun. That's an
That
exciting thing to look forward to.
now is Ashton someone that you've known for a long time, or is he someone that you met after you already got into weather?
Right after I got into it, is what I would say. It was like May of this year. We were going up to Oklahoma. It was May 20th for the anniversary of the Moore tornado. And while we were up there,
Okay.
we realized there was a chaser meetup going on. So me and my mom were trying to figure out if we could go because we didn't know, because I'm not like that old, so we didn't know. So I reached out to Ash. He said sure, and that's how I met him. And then we just were talking there. We became friends there, met a bunch of other people, and that's how the other stuff actually started.
That is really cool.
Everyone that I've met has been very nice and very receptive and very helpful, and I'm very glad about it.
Yeah, it's a super welcoming
Yeah.
community. I'd say that's one of the things that's always stuck out in my mind is everybody is just friendly. We're all just struggling to do our best to see a
Yeah.
dang tornado.
Yeah. If I have a question, I can reach out to someone and I'll actually get help. And it's not like I have to be worried about it or anything. And it's like very nice.
Tell me about the weather festival. I was not aware of such a
Yeah.
thing.
It was really fun. We went last year, but we didn't know there was that much stuff. And while we were there was like so much stuff. They had that new Doppler truck out, which was super cool to get to see because I'm pretty sure that was the like first day it was on public display, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
We got to sit in one of the old Doppler trucks, which was really funny. They had a bunch of the storm chasing cars on display, all of the weather stuff. Got to meet a bunch of the news people. Got to meet a bunch of people from AFR, which was really cool. Apparently, some of them know who I am, which was really funny to me. Because
Is that from Twitter?
no, I don't even know. Because I was walking with Ash, and he was like, "Hey, you want to go meet Mike Morgan?" And I was like, "Wait, I can do that?" And then we walked over there, and somehow some of them knew who I was. Like,
I
not who
think
they
that is one of the cool things about social media is it is the great equalizer because you get an opportunity as 13-year-old Kai to talk or at least
Yeah.
have your tweets be seen by somebody like a Mike Morgan so that maybe they even know who you are when you end up getting introduced to them.
It's crazy that all these people who a year ago I would have absolutely freaked out about at the chance to meet, I can just casually talk to. My brain hurts at that in a good way.
Now you said on Twitter that
Yeah.
you had just finished up setting up your Severe Studios account. And
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised because given your young age, I talk to a lot of people your age and even a little older that haven't even really got the chance to storm chase yet. So the fact that you're actually taking some steps to do it in a little bit more of a professional manner, I thought was pretty awesome. Tell me what's going through your mind with that.
Yeah, it started because a while ago, I think it was like 2 months ago, I started having people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, can I use some of your footage for projects?" And of course, I'm like, I don't think my footage that I have currently is good enough to actually sell. So I was like, I don't care really. Go ahead. And then me and my mom started talking about it, and we were like, okay, we should probably start figuring out a way we can make money from this. And I was like, Severe Studios would be a good thing to set up because I talked to Jordan Hall on that. He was like, go ahead and set that up if you want. So I was like, sure, we'll try that out. And then there's a really funny thing about trying to set that up. I think we spent 3 months trying to do it because the first time we tried, uh, it didn't work because the emails were different on my account and the PayPal account. We didn't know that. So then we spent 2 months trying to get like a PayPal card or whatever. We finally got that. It didn't work. We lost like $60. We got a refund on that, but that was really funny. And then I finally called Jordan. And he was like, "Oh yeah, it's just like a really simple fix." I was like, "How did I not know that this was a simple fix?" It was very funny, but we finally got it working like 2 days ago. It was very nice to finally have that set up.
Technology, man.
Technology is fun.
It'll always get you in the end. Obviously, to set up a Severe Studios account, you have to already be confident in your ability to get storm footage. And I believe you had said 6 tornadoes is what your count is at so
Yeah.
far.
6 is what I'd count. Technically, there could be 8, but some of those are questionable on if they were tornadoes at the time.
I'm not sure if you know the rule for this podcast. The same supercell, same tornado is what I go by.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Just pulling your leg. It's a long running meme with this podcast. I catch a lot of flack from people for it, but
that only drops the count down to 5, and then because the 2 of them are the Irving tornadoes from earlier this year, that barely affects the count. Let's go.
Now that is impressive. That 5 to me is more impressive than the 6. So very well done.
We've been, I don't know if that Waco multi-vortex from earlier this year, like the EF0 up there, right? We were like almost in that. A parking lot away from it. It was going through a gas station parking lot, and we were just filming it on the same road. Oh, hey, that's a tornado in front of us.
Okay, I got to hear a little bit of the background to this story then. How did you end up so close?
We didn't have radar. So we were like not using radar because we didn't have a radar scope or any of the tools I have now. This was actually what made me go, all right, if we're going to do this, we need this stuff. But we were just talking. And we were watching the shelf cloud come in from the storm and start to see a bit of an area of rotation to our south. We were like, okay, let's go get closer to that. So we got back in our car. We started driving south we were next to the highway on the frontage road, I think is what they're called. I don't know exactly. And we were driving down that, and there were so many trees, you couldn't see what's going on. It was like chasing in Dixie, but you're in Texas, so it's even worse because it's Texas.
Yep.
Which means the roads don't work. But we were driving, and I just stopped paying attention because I was trying to get I think it was the GoPro to work. It was like, why won't this work? And we're coming up on this one random gas station. I look up, and I'm like, that is a tornado in the parking lot. I'm like, we are like 2 seconds from driving into this thing. We should back up. So
what did your mom think?
Backing up slowly down the highway in front of a tornado. It was a really funny experience now and some pretty good footage, but it was pretty scary at the moment. But now I understand that it really wouldn't have done anything, even if we did get hit by it. Not to say you should drive into tornadoes.
That is not the lesson we want kids taking away from this podcast.
Timmer, or you are as stupid as me, do not drive into tornadoes.
What was your mom thinking when this was happening and that tornado was going right across the road in front of you? I'm sure that was a shock to her.
I don't know entirely because I only really know half of what she was thinking because me, her, and one of her friends were talking a few nights ago, and I asked that, and she was, I don't remember her exact answer, but I'm pretty sure she was like worried and stuff, but also we were fine in the end, so it's like we weren't really in danger because the tornado was going away from us, but I didn't know that, so I was more worried than, let's say, if I had the same tools I have now, I would have been, because I would have been able to acknowledge it's fine. That's definitely a reason why you don't use the random mobile app radar. It's not good. They are bad.
Oh yeah, that's not.
I've been trying to convince my mom to stop using them because I think it was like September 19th, me and Ashton went out ourselves and we went up to Texas border or whatever, so 4 hours away from here to chase. And I kept getting texts from my mom. Here's what's going on with the radar. Here's what's going on with the radar. I was like, I appreciate it. That radar's not helpful.
Yeah, you got to explain. You got to share with her about how the radar smoothing that those things do makes it really hard.
I've been trying to convince her to use that more, so we'll see.
Yeah. The smoothing is what kills you, especially when you're looking for those subtle features inside of the reflectivity and the velocity signatures. They really get muddied when you are using those more generalized radar apps that are for the public.
Yeah, because like with Radar Scope or whatever, I'm able to look at 20 million different things. With my average phone radar app, I can like see what's going on up until now, unless I pay $50 a year. I'm not paying $50 a year for that.
I think what also throws some people off as well and can lead to a false sense of security with those really general public type weather apps is they have that like future predict algorithm built in where they'll try to show you where the storms are likely to go next. And so you might think that you're in the clear because, this storm is about to pass to my north and nothing's about to happen, but you never know exactly what a storm's going to do.
Yeah, that's happened a few times to us where I've been like, hey, this storm's going to go. Actually, another good example. We were chasing a really big wall cloud. I think it was near Ross, Texas. I want to say June 15th. Yeah, it was 15th. And we were like right under this thing. It's going away from us. At this point, we have a radar scope or whatever. So I know where it's going. My mom's still using the predictive one. So I'm like, hey, it's going to go away from us. There's no storms behind us. We're fine. And her thing keeps showing more storms popping up, coming at us. So she was like, no, we're not. And eventually, after 20 minutes of arguing, we finally left. But literally nothing ended up happening. I was like, again, I am correct on this. That radar is garbage. What I didn't actually say that because that's rude. But
now she's going to hear it when she listens to this. Oh boy, you're going to be in trouble.
She is going to put a piece of cheese on my head.
That is a strange punishment, but I suppose it could be effective. I wouldn't want to have a piece of cheese on my head. So what are some of the other storm chases you've had that really stick out in your mind?
We had, of course, the one in Waco. Then we had one early March this year. There was a pretty nice wall cloud over Denton. That went more towards the border, and we couldn't follow it because we were like chasing for an hour on my mom's off time from work. That was like the first chase we ever did. But then we got home and figured out that produced a tornado. And then we've had a few. None of them have been like super interesting. Even for the Irving tornadoes, I only noticed them when I looked back through the footage from that day. We did not even notice them until I was like, oh, hey, there's the tornado. I am dumb. That's been the main thing for us. All the tornadoes we've had this year have been like rain wrap tornadoes to where you couldn't see them. And that's been like just the constant for us. And then everyone else is getting the photogenic tornadoes. And I'm like, no, I want to see the cool tornadoes.
I'm sure if you keep at it, it is only a matter of time before you catch one of those just incredibly beautiful, high contrast, classic plains tornado.
Yeah, we're looking. I think it's 2 weeks from now. There might be a setup developing then. I'm not entirely sure because I'm not looking at models much right now because it's 2 weeks out. But
Yeah.
hopefully that'll do something interesting enough to chase and give us something fun to do.
Is it I think I was seeing what you're talking about when I go over just very casually, like you said, it's so far out, I don't pay much attention, but I look through the GFS 2 or 3 weeks out every single day, just whatever new run is that comes out around 8 or 9 in the morning, and I was seeing that actually, that it looks like there could potentially be a setup in that area a couple weeks
Yeah,
out if the pattern stays consistent.
yeah. Seeing as that's been there for 2 days, I'm starting to believe it more. But I'll check back once we get like closer to a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
One of my friends who lives like 20 miles away from me has been trying to convince me to take him with us if that does do anything, and I'm like, I don't want to. It'd be funny, but I don't think we need 3 people in the car yet. I feel like that'd be a bit chaotic. With how scatterbrained I am constantly, I don't think I could pay that much attention to figure out what everyone's doing.
I will say though, I will say the more people in the car, the less gas money each person has to pay.
Hey everyone, Kay here from Rough Skies Ahead and Chaser Chat. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the new Chaser Chat YouTube page, where you can find all your favorite episodes uploaded in video form with a transcription to follow along with. The link is in the podcast description. All right, back to the episode.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I'm the type of person who can be a tornado in front of us that's like not hitting us, but there will be 70-mile-an-hour winds outside the car, and I will step out of the car to film it. I will just because. Why not? That's what I do. I haven't done that yet because obviously it's not safe exactly to do that. But I'll go. I should have done that, even though I know I shouldn't do it. I want to do it.
I hope at the very least you're being conscious of how much lightning the storm is producing.
Yeah,
Because the
usually
wind
a lot
isn't,
of storm
yeah,
chase don't produce much lightning, at least near us, to where like we're fine to stand outside of
'cause
the car.
that's the big problem that a lot of people end up getting bit by. It's the lightning that'll get you,
Yeah,
not necessarily the wind.
lightning is lightning, I will say.
Indeed, that is someone needs to
Yeah.
put that on a shirt as a quote. Lightning is
Well, lightning
lightning.
is lightning.
So I want to circle back to something that I don't think we fully explored earlier, which is what are some of your plans when you get a little bit older as far as like meteorology or being in the weather industry is concerned? Is that
Yeah.
something that you want to be a part of or?
Absolutely. Currently, my plan so I do, like, online school and stuff, so I've been able to do multiple years at a time. So my
Oh,
goal is
heck
to
yeah.
have all the, like, 12th grade done by 15 or whatever, get my driver's license, buy a random car, take a pretty bad job or whatever, I don't really care about it, maybe do, like, yard work or whatever, and then, like, between 15 and 18 or whatever people usually start college, test out storm chasing to see if I still enjoy it. If so, I wanna go to University of Oklahoma or whatever,
Yep.
go take meteorology there because from the times I've been there, it's definitely where I want to go, I think. And then learn meteorology and go from there.
It's like Disney World for weather at the University of Oklahoma.
Exactly.
Do you think you would want to be in the broadcast meteorology side of things or more on the operational, like working for a forecasting office?
No, I don't know. I think I'd probably want to stick to doing storm chasing in general, just because I enjoy that more than sitting and looking at radar for 2 hours. So I think I'd try and find a way to where I could do storm chasing as an actual job. I do know that is, from what I've heard, pretty hard to do. So who knows? Maybe have to find another thing around that.
It is pretty tough to do, but I will say this. If you're going to do it, you have to have a well thought out and executed plan. And so at 13 years old, the fact that you're already number one, storm chasing, and number two, actually thinking in terms of how do I actually make sure I have the ability financially and time wise to storm chase? I do think that bodes well for somebody who's actually wanting to try and make that a career.
Yeah. I've just started thinking about it now because it's better to have a plan currently than not at all. And
Yeah,
I
and it
think I
gives you something
think
to work towards.
it pretty much currently is just like we're seeing how well this goes and seeing as what's already gone relatively well, I would say. I think I'm gonna stick with weather and storm chasing just because it's one of the few things I still enjoy doing. After 5 years of being interested in weather, I still care about it a lot. So I think that usually means my brain likes it.
Yep, I would agree. That's actually something that I talk to my daughter about a lot is I always tell her, like, come back to me in 3 months, and if you're still interested in it, if you still want it to buy it from the store or whatever, then we can talk about it, because kids tend to hop from one thing to another pretty often. So I agree with you. If it's been 5 years and it's still something you're passionate about, there's definitely something there.
My brain isn't doing the best usually, because I have a lot of stuff currently with it, but I've still maintained my interest in weather, which means usually that means my brain actually enjoys doing a thing, which means it's something I should look into doing. And I think weather and trains have been the only two things that have stayed.
Oh, nice. So you do train spotting as well?
Yeah, I like to the model trains a lot. I actually in my so I'm upstairs currently in our house. There is a $500 train table up here. I haven't used it yet, just because I couldn't find a way to decorate it that I like yet. But we just have it. So whenever I see a train, I'm like, oh, hey, a train.
The last thing I'd like to ask you about, Kai, is something that I see young folks, especially on Twitter, talking about a lot, but I have absolutely no experience with it. It is the Roblox storm chasing game, Twisted.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen you
it's
tweeting
a relatively
about it before.
fun game, I will say. I've played it for quite a while. I think I've played it for 2 or 3 years now. I don't know exactly. I think it's probably closer to 2, but it's been pretty fun, enjoyable. Currently, I have definitely started to get bored of it, but I think that may just be due to the fact that I would much rather see an actual tornado than one on Roblox. I think for the game being the game, it is a really good game and very enjoyable. If you get like a good group of friends or whatever on it, it is really fun.
What are some of the like challenges and things that you have to do in the game?
It's really just storm chasing. They have the interceptors, they got the Dow, all the storm chasing, like most of the storm chasing cars you think of, like all of that. So it's really just start off when I started the game like a while ago, but then my Roblox account got banned due to some garbage unrelated stuff, which that's why I just stopped playing like Roblox and stuff. Just because I was like, all right, I'm done with this. I created a new account, but I don't use it much anymore just because I got bored. But like I had a couple million on Twisted at that point. So, like, I played it for a while. I got really into it. It was very fun. I do like it still. I will play it for a few hours on occasion.
All right, Kai. Well, I think that is a good place for us to leave our conversation. So I really appreciate you joining me on the podcast today. And before I let you go, could you tell people where they could find you on social media? Because
yes,
I'm sure people are now going to be interested in following along with your
is KJ Chasing, Twitter, Twisted Studio, that's me. Discord, those are all on there. You can usually find most of my links through everything else. I think I have all them linked together. I really don't remember what all social media platforms I have because I don't use half of them. If you go to one of those two, you'll find a link to everything else, basically.
Fair enough.
Be able to enjoy the stupidity that I am constantly.
Here you have it, folks. Well, I appreciate it, Kai. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for letting me come on here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button right now. Then make sure notifications are turned on so you never miss an episode. We need your help keeping Chaser Chat on the air, and there are some awesome ways for you to support the show. The best way is by becoming a subscriber on Patreon. You'll gain access to monthly bonus content like the WX Drama Report, featuring myself and a rotating cast of co-hosts. There's also a 1-hour live expert Q&A with Dr. Cameron Nixon and Trey Greenwood from the Convective Chronicles YouTube channel. There's even a deal where you can bundle all of the bonus content together with a t-shirt or a hoodie, which is pretty fantastic if I do say so myself. If you just want to buy some Chaser Chat swag, check out the merch store for t-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, and more. Can't support the show financially? There's still plenty of ways that you can help. Leave a rating and a review on your favorite podcast app, like and comment on YouTube, and share this episode on your favorite social media platform. Links to everything I just mentioned are in the episode description, and your support would mean the world to all of us at Chaser Chat. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode.